Can everybody see the screen again?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just the meeting agenda, the things that we're going to discuss during these few minutes. We're going to do an icebreaker in a minute for all of us to introduce ourselves to each other. I'm going to talk about Big Homies for a minute. Victoria is going to talk about BC Collective for a little while. And then we are going to talk about the Racial Equity 2030 grant, Black History Month. We got some meetings scheduled for Black History Month to discuss different Black history figures throughout the year. Emira, she wants to present the trailer for her Truth and Racial Healing project she's working on. It's a video trailer. And then we could just open the discussion if anybody has any questions or anything like that. And then we'll figure out the next time we'll have another meeting, right? Okay, so can everybody see Thanos on the screen? Yep.
Yeah.
This is the icebreaker that we're going to participate in. This is how we're going to introduce ourselves to each other, like get to know a little bit about each other, right? So if you could just snap your fingers and do anything positive for the city of Battle Creek, what would it be and why, right? So just think about that for a second. If you could snap your fingers and do anything positive for the city of Battle Creek, what would it be and why? And I'm gonna come back to the right. This is called a Thanos icebreaker. Just for ways for us to look inside each other's minds and spirits a little bit and figure out what each other's concerns are and interests are and things like that. I'm a realist, so I'll aim for something that could realistically happen this year. If I could snap my fingers and make anything positive happen for the city of Battle Creek right now, it would be to have a year with no homicides. I would snap my fingers and have a year of nobody in the city of Battle Creek killing each other. No way. No domestic violence. No homicides in the streets. No nothing. No accidental police shootings. No nothing. Just have a year of most of the citizens in Battle Creek serving their purpose, whatever that purpose may be for the city. That's what I would wish for if I could snap my fingers right now. And I'm going to pass this to Michelle, probably the least expected person thinking I was going to pass it to her.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I don't know some of you. So yeah, my name's Michelle. If I could snap my fingers and make something happen for the city of Battle Creek, it'd probably have to be related to housing some of our homeless population in Battle Creek. That's who I work with. So I get to experience a lot of people with cognitive impairments firsthand and just kind of being able to help them out. Thank you.
You want to pass it?
Yes, I will pass the torch to Jill.
Thank you for the torch. If I could snap my fingers, I think it would be around, we'd have all these empty buildings that we've got, and they would have electric and water and be safe. So we'd have, instead of all these empty buildings, we'd have buildings that were ready to be used. Elijah, I'll pass it on to you.
My name is Elijah Glass for anybody that don't know me. If I could snap my fingers, I would help with housing for like felons, I would say, because there's a lot of people, this felons, and they came up struggling, they don't get fair chances, and get looked at different because of what they've been through. So that's something I want to help. And I don't know who I was on here, so I'm gonna pass it to Victoria because that's the only person I know on here.
Thank you. I'm Victoria, and if I could snap my fingers and do anything for Battle Creek, I think that I would make one school district can combine them all into one school. And then remove the cops from that school. So yeah, I will pass it to Trey.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Trayvon. For you that know me, just to address the question, if I could snap my fingers and have anything positive happen for the city of Battle Creek, it would be to really focus in on that niche of like the young and up and coming demographic of, you can say, maybe between like the ages of like 18 and like I would say even up to like 32, right? Because that would really, I feel like, focus on that group that's really in the stage of like the rebuilding stage, or the, you know, like the young and up and coming workforce. Even if you think about that young you know, man, woman, I just feel like improving the standard of living this year, specifically for the common family, would definitely do good. If I could, you know, snap my fingers and do that, that'd be great. Oh yeah, and I don't know who else it is to pass it to, but yeah, that's a very interesting question too. I don't think I've ever been asked that question.
Interesting. Y'all can't see y'all can't see
Yeah,
everybody on the
yeah,
screen.
yeah. No, you gotta go to it to participants. Then you can see. I ain't even know that.
Yeah, you got to either click on see all participants or slide your screen to the side, and you'll be able to see everybody all at the same time.
Oh man, okay.
Now you can pass it. You got to pass it, bro, Trayvon.
And anybody, there's Amira.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name's Emira. If I could snap my fingers and do anything positive for the city of Battle Creek, it would probably be surrounded around education. So just making sure students have everything they need to succeed. LeBron's Promise School came to mind, if you all are familiar with that. But just giving students the access, you know, whether it's devices or whatever, clothing, good food, just like whatever they needed, so that they would be able to focus on their learning. And I think he's created such a good model for that, and pay our teachers more. So I worked with kids just briefly in a side job as Operation Fit coordinator. And so some of the things I saw just like hurt my heart. And so definitely just supporting systems and all that they need and all that they do, and paying teachers more. So that's that. Oh, and I will pass it to Lauren.
All right. Hi, I'm Lauren. What I would do in Battle Creek is to create an affordable interactive children's museum. That's kind of my main focus, having a young child in the area. The Albion Children's Museum is free for SNAP participants, and also an affordable interactive gym for kids, and more downtown, like the Michigan area, because there's breweries and cafes, but there's not really anything for families. So I think that core base is really important. So that's what I would do. I gotta pass it. Let's go, Zach.
Okay, hey everybody, my name is Zach. I think if I could snap my fingers and make one positive change for Battle Creek, I mean, I think I would really just go to like representation and decision making in general. Equal representation in all decision making platforms, like who's our zoning commissioners, who are our drainage commissioners, who are the people, you know, making the decisions to shape our city. I think that's really important. So. Oh, to pass it. I saw Blake just got on, so I'm gonna pass it to Blake. Blake, can you hear me? Okay. Well, I'm not hearing back from Blake. I'll pass it to Edgar.
Hi guys, I'm Edgar. If I could snap my fingers and do something, I'd give everyone UBI. That's universal basic income. It's about like it would be like 1,500 a month, every month, recurring, and I think that would help a lot of people pay their bills, obviously like their rent, their food, medical bills. I just really believe in something like that. And I just feel like it would go a long way for communities in need. And if I could pick, let's see, Jackie, have you gone yet?
No, I haven't. Thank you. Um, well, it's funny because Zach took my first one, and now Edgar took my second one. I was gonna say. So, I guess I would say that I'm very passionate about communication. So, if I could snap my fingers, I would wish for a platform in which all organizers, all leaders of different groups are able to kind of just communicate with each other. So there's not any blocks of information or access to blocks to resources and services. So everyone knows what's going on in Battle Creek.
In the rest.
And then is
Blake's
Blake?
Blake's not coming off unmute for some reason. So
I think that's it then.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I can't get this to work. Telling it, he say he can't get it to work. He'll be all right. He'll be able to pop in later. I'm gonna share the screen again for a second, you guys, and talk about the Big Homies program. He's silly, man. Blake keeps sending me messages. Those were some good ideas, right? Let me just say that before. Can you all y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, those were some good ideas. I couldn't help but think while everybody was talking, what if we could combine all of those ideas into a project? And that's just something I'm throwing in the air. I think that's more how we should be community building, throwing all of our ideas on the table, hearing the voice of everybody's opinion and concerns, and getting those on the table before we can even start to shape something into an idea that's going to benefit the whole city and benefit everybody in the city, right? I think it's past time for the youth and everybody else to get involved in what's happening in the city. So without these type of meetings, without those type of questions and interactions with each other, we would never know the needs of each other. Every household has a different need. Until we start speaking to each other more and asking each other more questions, we won't know. This next slide is just the basic breakdown of the Big Homies program. On the left side, we're going to start most of it in February and March, some of it in June. I just recently filed for my 501c3 paperwork, so it's going to be a lot of changes going on. We're going to have a lot of mentoring classes, one-on-one and group mentoring classes. I'm developing a project right now called Safe Space Project. It's safe and fun environments. I'm going to attach my household that I own to my nonprofit and start using that as the first safe space home in the community where, you know, our youth will have somewhere to go. The kids who expel from school will have somewhere to go and still do homework and still interact with some teachers and some elders and some peers, and not be treated like outcasts. Always something in the household to cook. We making sure that's in the budget, so we can start practicing home economics for our young men and women. And you just let you know how it is when every night, every weekend in this city, the youth go, they congregate somewhere over somebody's house, and everybody just talk, kick it, share their stories, whatever they want to do. We want to create an environment that attracts that's just healthy for the youth as opposed to negative. An environment like that inspires the youth to build with each other as opposed to just get drunk and high enough to where it erupts into some violence or a bad night, right? We're trying to avoid those bad nights. So If we want to counteract that negative energy, we got to create something with some positive energy that's strong enough to attract those same youth and same kids and same residents of our city. So that's going to be the Safe Space Project. It's also going to be like a game room, a study room. We're going to try to help employ some of our laid off and retired teachers in our community to come help tutor some of our students who need help and things of that nature. And it's also going to be video games, computer access, Wi-Fi access, everything that we want every day at home that most of our kids don't have in the city right now. We already conduct educational and workforce exposure trips. The last one we did was last year. COVID stopped a lot of it. But Jackie, Jill, did you go? No, I know Jackie went. Did you go, Jill? I can't remember. Was that Sarah? That was Sarah and Jackie. They went. We took some kids to see Angela Davis speak at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I'm trying to get Eric Stewart to let us come to Stewart Industries. It's a Black-owned factory out there in Fort Custer that's doing very well. We're proposing parts of the budget for some mobile engagement to get some vans, some community vans where we can, ride around the community, show up and intervene in certain situations that take place day or night, 24/7. One of the brothers got a criminal justice reform. He's not on here right now. Me and Jackie always have spoke about and practiced and tried to help with resource connecting with all our residents that need help. They reach out so much. I always tell people that Jackie got an underground reparations network. A violence prevention and intervention program. We need young men and women, that's of that age and has experienced those things to participate in that. Those are the only people that young, aggressive people going to listen to, right? Somebody who's also can match their same energy. It's a whole list of community clubs I have on the next page that we can look at, right? We see these community clubs over here on this page. On the left, that's just a breakdown of a nonprofit corporation. That's what's needed when you put together a nonprofit corporation. You need those positions filled. You don't have to have 7 board of directors. You don't have to have any, but it's best to have an uneven number and try to have a few so it'll be a fair vote when everybody voting on something. We want to start a book club, a chess club, a young entrepreneurs club, a learn my language club with our Burmese and Latino residents, and we can all be able to communicate with each other better. A storytelling and oral history club, talking about the history of Battle Creek. Arts and crafts club, that's anything, right? It's going to turn into anything. Poetry club, a Black Roses club, leans to what Jill was speaking about in her Thanos snap. Acquiring community ownership of all of these empty lots and land and develop flower gardens, vegetable gardens, fruit gardens, all these different homes they've tore down in our communities. We can do something with those spaces and, bring some life and add some character to these communities, and also a life skills club. So that is everything that I had to share about Big Homies, right? So now, let me see. I'm probably looking crazy to y'all, right? So now, okay, Victoria wants to share what they do at BC Vision and what they have going on at BC Vision. I didn't say it at first, but we've basically merged our organizations, and we just out here fighting for the Black and brown youth of the city of Battle Creek. And we're just trying to make sure that we're on the same page and doing it at the same time. We're not engulfing each other. We merge them together. We focused on the same goals, but I'm gonna hand it over to Victoria now.
Hey everybody. So first it's BC Collective, not BC Vision, but I know he knows that. No, you good.
My bad. I was speaking too fast.
It's okay. Yeah. So I and Fabian / Edgar is what he introduced himself, co-founded it together. Came through a conversation that we had volunteering this summer through some protests and stuff and some community work. And we just didn't see a lot of people our age giving the platform. So it was a lot of the old heads of the community keep doing what they're doing, but we didn't see a lot of people our age and younger being handed stuff, the opportunity to speak and to create solutions. So our goal is to inform and educate everyone on the injustices that go on within our city and the country and the world. But we're focused on organizing protests and networking to help bring opportunities to underprivileged communities, which is our communities, facilitate political conversations and bringing understanding that civil discourse is needed, right? And it's easy to recognize the problem that's happening, but it's not as easy to fight it. So we want to be able to like give people those resources and those tools and the support to fight it when they see the issue. So something that I've been doing for a while now is facilitating racial equity clubs within the different districts for a few years and working in the education system, like seeing all this stuff, how it plays out for my students or my family or, you know, my kids and me. Like I just kind of get out of the education system. So creating more opportunities to fix those things, and having those hard conversations and creating solutions, number one, right? So it starts with stuff like this, collabing with other people in the community who also want to bring out the same changes. So yeah, Fabian, do you want to say anything?
You pretty much said everything. But yeah, I think I'm excited that I got to start that with Tori because I got to meet Jeff from Big Homies and other similar groups that trying to do something for the community. And like I said, or like Tori said, this group was made, BC Collective was made to have people kind of our age, just a little bit younger, to because there's a lot of young people that don't see the importance in community work and getting involved, and so I want to dedicate this group to the people that want to join and get more involved and connect with other groups that are doing the same thing and help, you know. So I'm happy to see you guys here and see you guys doing something. And but yeah, I think Tori did said everything that I wanted to say. So. Oh, one more thing, actually, no. Trayvon and Michelle are facilitators of the group. I don't know if you guys want to, Trayvon, if you want to say something about your experience with the group, and or just to say anything.
Yeah. I want to say thank you, Jay, first of all, for you know, having us on this platform and for you know, bringing us in this space today. For BC Collective, I do facilitate along with Michelle, and we do a lot of things. Me personally, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, if you will. But the primary thing, I guess you could say, my specialty would be focused around coordinating resources and the people who need them ultimately. I'm the digital content manager for the Veterans and Family Council. So I'm able to thrive, like I say, within that niche of, you know, being able to bridge the gap even between the younger generation and, you know, our citizens up in age, even to veteran status, if you will. So with BC Collective, we try to, you know, pinpoint civil engagement, creating opportunities around education and, you know, elimination of racial discrimination, I guess you could say, if you will, without using too many big words. But yeah, we do a lot of things. And me personally, I guess you could say another specialty of mine. A lot of things I've been working on have been focused lately around data analysis, data sciences, or I'm sorry, data science. But and what I want to do with that, without making it too off topic, for BC Collective, I'd like to, you know, ultimately optimize performance, man, by being able to break down, you know, okay. And first of all, when I say data for everybody, that just means information, right? And there's information all around us. Um, and there's a lot of information that goes into the things that we're trying to do. And I feel like the more information we have on the things that we're trying to do, you know, without making this too complicated, the better I feel like the better we would be and being able to be more accurate in what we're trying to do. Whether that's, you know, get a post, you know, something as small as get a post across and be more relevant to, you know, an audience, or whether that's on, you know, the commercial level of trying to, you know, negotiate commercial practices into, you know, maybe a community event or something like that. But just trying to overall, you know, make things better for people, create opportunity, and really just be a liaison between BC Collective and other organizations, if you will.
Thank you for sharing, Trey. Also,
Yeah.
Jay, on the road to being a facilitator for BC Collective surrounding communications. I just wanted to point that out there. I don't want her to feel like I left her, left them out.
Michelle, have anything to say, add to that?
Hi, I didn't know I was still on mute. So I'm just really glad to have met Victoria and Edgar. When they told me about BC Collective, I obviously jumped on the opportunity because moving here to Battle Creek from Miami, I just got approached a lot about, oh, why did you make that change? And why come to Battle Creek? Like, just so much negative attitude around Battle Creek. And all I saw was just potential. And like, I do meet good people on a daily basis. And then with everything, like all the negativity in the world in general, I'm just really glad to always, I guess, have a chance to volunteer any way I can and just connect anybody in the community to kind of like uplift each other. And there is so much opportunity, like free space, kind of like Joe mentioned, to help with that. So just here volunteering, and I'm hoping to make things happen, be part of the process. Thank you.
Yeah, it's about time to talk about that. Was you done, Victoria?
Yeah.
Edgar?
I'm ready
Trey,
for the next
Trayvon, huh?
I'm ready. I'm hungry for the next one.
This is okay. Now we're gonna move to the immediate things, right? Can you guys see the screen right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what's going on. This is a Racial Equity 2030 is a pitch from the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, right? This is what they say on their website. Racial Equity 2030 is a call for bold solutions to drive an equitable future for children, families, and communities around the globe. The project is a $90 million project, right? It's going to be divided. I think they say 3 groups are going to get 20 million for 10 years worth of funding and grants. Jill will be able to better explain everything than I can. And at the bottom is just like a definition of what racial equity actually means. It's about applying justice and common sense to systems of power, right? Like we got a city full of shit, a very powerful system in this city, right? And we know that historically, these systems of power have mistreated Black people and people of color and people from the LGBTQ community and poor people in general, right? Unfairly. So we want to put together a system to counteract that system, right? On the right side of the screen is the list of things that will be needed for that racial equity pitch, right? So hypothetically, let's say we all come together and say, as community members, as young representatives of the youth, which almost all of you on this phone call are, you want to come together and put together something for this Racial Equity 2030 proposal. This is the list of things that you will have to cover. It's due February. We still working on it. A few people in this room are still working on it, but all these different things are needed in order for that pitch to work, right? So hold on, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I'm trying to come back to the screen and see y'all. Give me a couple weeks. I'm gonna be like a surgeon with this, right? Y'all can hear me. Okay, so Jill, would you like to explain Racial Equity 2030 and what's going on with it?
Yeah, sure. Sure. So the W.K. Kellogg Foundation has a real emphasis on racial equity, and they've been working in that field, trying to get money out to communities, across, well, even beyond, our nation's borders for, decades doing this. Their emphasis is really on children, but they understand that to support children, you've got to make a lot of big changes too. So racial equity is really important to them. A few years ago, they started something called Truth, Racial Healing and Transformation. And that is supposed to be a grassroots movement. I don't know how grassroots it can really truly be if it got started by the foundation, but in Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, it's working pretty effectively to, I mean, I think I've met several of you before because of TRHT and the work that they're doing. So this huge grant, because TRHT's funding is coming to an end here shortly, I think that this grant is hoping to pick up on a lot of the type of work that TRHTs around the nation have been working on. And, but it's open to anybody, any organization, and it's international. So there's going to be, I know Michigan State is putting an application. My group, which is headed by the United Way, is putting an application. Big Homies and BC Collective together. They'll, you know, hopefully you guys we will be putting in an application. And I'm sure there'll be hundreds and hundreds of other ones. But, you know, being in Battle Creek with the Kellogg Foundation here, certainly I would guess that they're going to look to, you know, a group that's local to fund. So it's going to start off with $1 million planning grant. And then they'll have 10 groups that are going to do that $1 million planning around the nation. Some of those groups will have to go forward and find their own funding. Others will be, 2 will be funded at $10 million and 3 will be funded at $20 million. So that is a lot of good money. So if we, either this group or the other group in Battle Creek, and maybe there are many others that are applying, get that money, that's going to be awesome, because that's really going to help us, because our community has been doing such great work through all these, you know, different groups on racial equity, because racial equity involves, you know, our economic system, our judicial system, our educational system, you know, all these different systems. So different people have been working away at different parts of that. You know, housing has really come a long way the last few years too. So this grant money, which hopefully somebody in Battle Creek is gonna win that and will be able to, you know, whichever group gets it, I'm sure it's gonna be a community-wide, it will help our whole community. Whoever's in charge of the money, it's gonna help our whole community. So they're looking for transformational, equitable, audacious, and attainable ideas. And if I know Jeff Cotton, I know audacious. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you've got.
No, this is what I have. Us discussing what we got. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to I want it to be organic, right? Like I want it to be organic, just like we sitting on this call right now. Like I want it to be organic. I want to know what Elijah want to do, what Jackie want to do, what Emir want to do, what you want to do, what everybody wants to do. The only difference between this call and that other call is that was a group of older organization leaders in this city that has failed Battle Creek for 100 years. And this is a group of representatives of our youth and our youth that have way more of an investment in the future of this city than we do, you or I, right? So yeah. If we're talking about what type of investment we want to make in the future, I shouldn't be making that decision on my own. I'm 45 years old, right? They should. They know who should. All of y'all know who should. Y'all have the vibration that's going to affect the next 10 years way more than I ever could, right? So this is what we have. We have these young men and women on this phone call, which is, I don't know if anybody else noticed, unless I counted wrong. It's like evenly divided, 6 women and 6 men. That's so gangster. I ain't seen that in so long. It's almost always majority women when we have these kind of meetings in Battle Creek. I will give a big salute to our women in Battle Creek. They are way more active than men. Me and Elijah be talking all the time about how we can get some of these young brothers involved in what's going on in this city. Me and Jackie too. Jackie, you want to add something to what you think about this proposal? Because they submitted something as well, her and her friend Mercedes.
Oh,
Sure. Mercedes and I have our own agency around marketing. It's a business-to-business growth agency for social impact. So we work with small businesses, entrepreneurs, political candidates and campaigns, nonprofits to help them really ground their work in the communities that they say they serve. So it's less about focusing on their PR and making these organizations or individuals look good, but it's actually making sure that they have direct connection and access to those that they say they serve so that they can actually provide those quality services and access to resources that, you know, they originally formed to do. And part of that is we submitted an application for this 2030 initiative to propose working with people that have to navigate these systems every day to receive services or resources or even information, and learn from them on what are the areas and gaps in these services, and then helping nonprofits and all the different organizations I've named kind of get their shit together and be able to better provide those services to the people that we center, their voices that we center. So that's our proposal.
And Jill, when you said what I have to propose, I think me and Victoria only discussed like a name of what it should be named, right? And I don't know if we settled on it. I kind of had a program named the Battle Creek Y.E.S program, but it's the youth empowerment system. But that's what I view that much money can do. That much money can empower the youth and help them develop a system that'll change the trajectory of their future as far as college and career readiness. So that's the program name or title that I'm calling it, is the Battle Creek Y.E.S, the youth empowerment system. But what, like the skeleton and the organs and the functioning parts of that system, is something that we need to have like meetings for the next 2 or 3 weeks and figure out what we need to implement, what would be mostly effective, what would be bold, where our areas of expertise are, how we could benefit this project, and who else we might need to involve in the project, right? And Elijah, I've been wanting to ask you for a minute. You said you ain't want to talk, bro, but can you kind of explain to them like what kind of program that you seeing up there as far as the housing and stuff going, how they looking out for people, and how some ideas and pieces of that program can help you bring that back here? You on mute.
My bad. The program up here is it's kind of like it's real different, but it's good because it's working. It's like it's a street based program, kind of like people who get shot up here, or they they get stabbed or anything that involve gangs or anything, and they want to get out of it and change their life, they can reach out to the people of the program and get involved in the program. And the program basically, they keep them with an income. They got a community center. It's 7 days a week. They cook this breakfast, lunch there every day for the people to have. So it's wisdom classes. They take real estate classes, and that's what they getting paid for. They get like the kids get checks to come basically better themselves. And like, I guess some people ask, why is they getting a check to come better themselves? Like, ain't nobody gonna come really like to stuff like this, like for no reason. Like, we taking them away from feeding their families and stuff. So stuff gotta be offered in order for something to really work. You know what I'm saying? So they got houses here that they bought, that they put in, anybody in the program, they need housing, they put them in a house and they pay their rent for 6 months to a year. Groceries, they take care of the groceries. They got it set up to where the Ubers bring the groceries. They get like the transportation. They got a contract with Lyft to where they take them to the doctor's appointments, school, whatever it is they need a ride to, they take care of it. Families, rent, like it's a program to where they just they giving the resources to the community, and it's something the community never had. So it's changing the community. Like, and it's just good. It's just something that I didn't expect I was coming up here to see, you know? So, and it's something that Battle Creek need. And I feel like it'll make a big difference down there if we could get something like that started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do too. Emira, you want to share your screen? Can you do that, or do you want me to do it?
Let me try and see if it'll work.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I have access. So I'll just give a little context really quick. So my name is Emira again. I connected with Kim Holly, who's a co-coordinator of the Battle Creek Coalition, Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. So we kind of just brainstormed. She had this idea of like a dialogue series, a video dialogue series that she wanted to create. So basically a platform to create a safe space to talk about race. With everything, it kind of spun from everything that happened with George Floyd last summer. And so we really just wanted to find a productive way to talk about all the social injustice and unrest in our country. So we kind of brainstormed. Victoria, Michelle, and Jill, who are on this call, are also producers of this series. I'm executive producer. And we also have Eric McLeod of Cloudy Productions on our team, who is the videographer who put this teaser together. So you might have already saw it on Facebook, but I'll show it again really quick. It's only like a minute or two long. But yeah, we really just wanted to create a safe space to talk about race. We want to debunk these myths and stereotypes. We want to, evaluate our own bias. We want to, just talk about our differences, but also how we're similar and, identify problems and solutions and how we can all be a part of solutions. So I'll be brief with that really quick and just show you the teaser. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, so hopefully you can hear this. Let me know. Can everyone see it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is race?
It tones make such a difference in how we're treated.
Is it the color of our skin, where we were born, or the group we fit in? It's going to take us as a unit. It's going to take us as a community in order to get where we're trying to go. I don't blame them for experience freedom. Through real conversations and real stories, we explore how race impacts our country and our community. United we stand, divided we fall. We won't let race define us. We're going to redefine it.
I didn't realize it was this many of us involved in that until I just watched that.
Okay, how do I stop share? Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, Victoria, Jill, Jeff, they're all in that video. And so really, we just want to do this from a storytelling perspective. I think a lot of times when it comes to race and racial issues and justice, people see these statistics or they see people on the news from different states and it just feels like, oh, well, that isn't happening here. We don't have that problem. But we really wanted to tell the stories of people in our community so people can put a face to these issues and know that it's happening around us. And just to, again, evaluate that bias, evaluate how you're complicit, evaluate how you're silent and how you can, just step up and do better and how we can just relate and come to each other, more peacefully and with understanding, with compassion. Because when it comes to these issues, they're tough topics and there's often a lot of negativity and things surrounding it. So we really just wanted to give a platform to have an honest conversation, but that's also respectful, that's also informative and educational and things that you can take away and do in your everyday life just to, talk about these issues and confront them, because if you don't, nothing's going to change. So if you want to get involved, we would love to have storytellers from all walks of life. We're exploring different topics from family dynamics, identity, race in the media, stereotypes, immigration, anything. So if you know someone or you are someone who has a story that wants to tell, definitely just get in touch. We'll have a separate email coming out, but right now you can contact the BCTRHT on Facebook or at their email, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but bctrht@gmail.com. So yeah, we just want to tell these stories. We just put out that teaser on the National Day of Racial Healing a couple weeks ago, and we're looking to do 1 or 2 videos a month just to explore these topics, and then have a community and panel discussion following the video. So if anyone has any feedback on what they saw, or any suggestions or any topics you'd like to see covered, please let us know. We want this to be the community's story. So
that's what's up.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I didn't see her message. I'm in Detroit with a program called D Life. Detroit Life is valuable every day. But another thing too, their main focus is really like tackling little barriers that people be trying to, a lot of the kids be trying to say this in a way, which it do be stuff that's in a way, you know what I'm saying? So like transportation and tickets and stuff like that, they help pay for tickets, and they just make it to where they giving people a clean route, I guess I want to say, like a clean path, and showing them a different way, in a way. So they just handling all small problems, so nobody can complain or say that they can't do something, because anything that they complain, they taking care of everything. It's no type of issue that they not taking care of, like I said. So it's definitely a good program up here.
Yes, it is. The rest of the slides were basically just to open up the discussion and see what everybody thinks about the racial equity 2030, the community building, right? Like this meeting and this energy is not just for the grant, right? This needs to become a part of the culture. So we all have to do our part of doing this consistently, right? Holding meetings, whatever on your mind, put one together. We jump on each other meetings, talk whenever somebody want to put it together. We got to start talking more. But the racial equity is a catapult. It's something that can, incite the riot. It's something that can, convince us to come together, because it's a lot of financial problems that a lot of people go through that stops them from being active in their community. When we're talking about community activists and things of that nature, it's a lot of roadblocks that he just mentioned in that program that they're covering that will stop an individual from participating in something healthy and something positive in their community, right? So, I forgot exactly how you just worded the question, Victoria, but you can ask it. You can unmute yourself and ask it. Just open now. We can just talk. If anybody got anything they want to add, anything they want to say, Zach and Michelle, we didn't hear from y'all a lot. Anybody got anything they want to say, just go ahead. Y'all can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if people are wanting to be a part of the planning and the process, the nitty gritty of it, hit us up, the grant writing and the who's going to be allocating funds. So being a little transparent, we are also working with United Way, and who's the other person, Jill, on that grant?
TRHT.
TRHT.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm involved for accountability reasons. I want to know where the money is going to be allocated if they win, right? That's a lot of money. And a lot of the people that are working with the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, just like any other organization, is responsible for exploiting and also throwing out crumbs to our community and throwing a lot of imagery and optics in our face, they're doing something. But how will we as a network of community members to be intentionally doing things different? Since we are all leaders in this and we all are interested in creating change, just to break the cycles of shuffling funding among those who already are set up, right? A lot of those people in that meeting are getting paid to be there. A lot of us aren't getting paid to be here, right? A lot of us aren't being paid daily to do this work daily. A lot of us are taking a lot of personal time, or it's firsthand experience of these inequities and injustices that make us want to have the change. So I guess I just kind of wanted to open that up to people and be a little transparent of where our passion's coming from.
Now, and let me add to that, right? It's not beyond the spectrum that we can combine these efforts, right? It's not beyond the spectrum that the United Way and TRHT and everybody else, we could all become involved in the same effort as a community. My only concern, right, is to make sure that the youth are involved way more than the elders, right? Like my concern is that the direction of this city and the future direction is placed into the hands of the city. Like how they say it's a transfer of power needs to take place on Wall Street. a transfer of power needs to take place in the city of Battle Creek, Michigan. So I believe whatever takes place and whatever happens with that money, most of y'all should decide. The younger generation should make that decision. I want to vote. You know, I want to be a part of it, in the process. I don't want to take it over. I don't want to control it. I don't want everybody to get behind me and what I think we should all do and become big homies and all that. I got a lot of different big homie stuff going on. I want y'all to be a part of it. That would be cool. But this is not about that. This is not just about that. This is a multicultural community, collaborative effort to see what we can come up with to do the best thing for the city and see if we can make a push. I hope all of y'all want to be involved in it. I also hope the United Way and TRHT and few other good organizations in the city want to be involved in it. I just don't believe that the leaders of these organizations like the Urban League, the NAACP, individuals that have a budget and have a nationwide network already should be trying to access these funds, like church leaders and people who are already getting a lot of grant money. They shouldn't be trying to access these funds. These funds, I believe, should be allocated to new ideas and some new energy. That's just what I think.
I'm gonna snap to that.
You silly. Nobody else have nothing to say? We try to keep the meetings down to an hour, you know, a little over. We can go over a little bit. But we try to keep them short, not to interfere in people's schedules too much. But if y'all don't want to speak now, y'all can speak later. If you want to be a part of the process, it's already a few of us on this call that have agreed. Let us know. I guess the majority of us already involved with each other one way or another, anyways. Right? Like this is like a soul together community call right now. We all deal with each other. I've been knowing Emir since she was in the belly. You hear me? Like, I've known her since she was in the belly. Like, you know, so hopefully we can go on with this. When would you guys be available, like, for a next call? Y'all want to do another one next Sunday around the same time?
Yeah, if I can speak real quick, Jeff, I'll speak to your point exactly. What you said earlier, I think this is something, I mean, this is a fire. This group right here is a real fire that, you know, this can't go out, right? Like, this is something I think that should be like promulgated, something that should be like really marketed to people and let people know, like, this is what we're doing. Come be a part of it. To all communities, you know, we need more your youthful interaction from the north side and the east side and the south side. Like, we need people, young people, to know about what's going on. I mean, I know so many friends and family who could really use a lot of the resources Elijah was speaking to that he's doing in Detroit. I mean, that's some groundbreaking work. And that money, that 2030 grant that would come from, I mean, that money would do so much good in a program like what Elijah's doing in Detroit. I think, you know, like I said, I just think this is a real fire and this needs to be, you know what I mean, continuously stoked. So, I mean, like a weekly basis, I'm free every Sunday at 2. So, I would definitely be down to do a live recording and have it, you know, something that would be marketed to all communities, or just something that's on the Facebook newsfeed, because everyone's scrolling all day anyway. So
I'm trying to record this, bro. And if y'all want me to publish it on YouTube or Facebook, I will. This is like the first time I've used my Zoom subscription, so I don't know how that cloud gonna work out. But if I got it, I'll share it with everybody at the very least, and then put it on my YouTube channel. I got a Big Homies YouTube channel. So I've got a few messages. We see a few messages saying next week at 2 o'clock Sunday again works for everybody, right? Like, everybody's cool with that right now? Go ahead.
Yeah. What I want to ask is,
that's crazy. I just seen your hand raised. That little thing just popped up. That's crazy.
What I want to ask is, so this little grant thing that we on this meeting for, what if that don't come through for nobody? What would that look like? Like, what would this look like? Like, because it could be, I feel like it's enough people on here, and like it can be, you know, it can be something still regardless. So
that's why I say I don't think it's just for this grant. I believe we need to make this a part of the culture of the city. We need to do this on a regular basis, have these open discussions, and like Zach say, have a lot of them. We can live stream some of them to Facebook. we can live stream and get immediate comments and interactions with people on social media, right? We just want to build with each other first, get a core understanding of what we're trying to do, and then move from there, right? So from this Sunday to next Sunday at the same time, we could be putting some thought towards what we can contribute to the project, what we think of the project, some other people that we believe might need to be involved in the project and things of that nature, right? So next week we'll have a little more clarity on which direction we might want to go. Okay, Mira, I just got your message.
So I had like that same question, Elijah, when I went to the meeting with United Way and TRHT, and I started a document of a bunch of questions that I started to have, and it would be really powerful to use that for our group too. So it was like, if the grant money is not accepted, what steps will we take as dedicated leaders and public servants to not let this be a loss but a lesson and an opportunity to grow our connections, to still continue to push Battle Creek forward, right, when it comes to equity. So I think I can share that document with everybody and we can like throw questions on there. I can share my screen and kind of show you some of the questions. Jeff's familiar with some of the questions I was asking them. Let me see if it works. So, can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Like knowing how this grant money will be allocated specifically, right? Who's the main person submitting the grant? Subgroups, what do they play? Where does each individual fit into that? Where do I fit into that? Because that was for them. But how many people in the meeting have experienced racial injustice firsthand? How many of them are from Battle Creek? Do they know the history of racial inequities and injustices in Battle Creek? Because that's important. You have to know your history, and they're submitting this grant. We're submitting this grant, right? On behalf of the people of Battle Creek. So those were questions really for them. But how many of them perpetuate the inequities in these systems simply by existing, whether in your current position, intentional consequence of systems in place by our society? That was for Chief Blocker, who was in that meeting. I was wondering, like, how are they going to solve an issue that they're perpetuating just by existing, right? So it's like, should those people even be invited to these meetings? Personally, I say no. But other people have, different views on that. So it's really like getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Can you put that up again for a sec?
Yeah, of course. And I can share it with you too.
Yeah.
This is like huge. Like I am disappointed in many community leaders, and how out of touch that some of them are. There's a lot of community organizations claiming to be for specific groups in our community, yet like a lot of people don't know about them, or a lot of those groups don't trust them, or they've been harmed by them. Specifically, like I'm thinking of like some churches that were in that meeting or going to be in other meetings. So, Jill, are you good?
Yeah, I am good, and I think you're the queen of accountability. I think you're right. I think this is excellent. That's great work, because yeah, these are things that this needs to be dealt with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dealt with. It needs to be thought about and talked about. If we're going to have a community of activists and change makers, we got to be real with each other, and we got to be calling this stuff out, because we don't learn if we don't call it out. Yeah, I think that's really important.
And even like to each other, right? Like ask us questions, ask BC Collective questions, Big Homies questions of like, how do I fit into this? If some of you are not feeling it, like maybe I don't want to be a part of that specific project, the 2030 racial equity, then that's fine, but where else do you fit in? Okay. And if you do want to be a part of that, then we want to know that, right? How and why and where you think that you fit in and what you want to do moving forward. Because that's all we're about, right? Giving the power back to the people.
Definitely that. Yeah. Did you raise your hand again, Elijah, or that just stayed up there?
No, I think that just stayed up there.
I wonder what to do with that. Oh, okay. I see. That's sweet. That's sweet. All right. Well, if everybody spoke their piece, I guess we'll be meeting again next week, Sunday. Also try to think of like how Trayvon was explaining what his specialty is, right? What his focus area is, right? Try to give a little thought to that as yourself as an individual. Like, what's your specialty, what's your focus area, right? If it's more than one, list more than one, whatever you're good at, whatever you think you could use as a tool to construct the system to benefit our community, put some thought to it. And we'll meet next week around the same time, 2:00 on the same channel, you know, same everything.
Same place, same time, right?
Same time, right? Yeah, I'm gonna start using that. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Appreciate everybody.
All right, everybody. Hope y'all have a nice day.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.